What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Zambia's finest trader, Blissbilliondollar. And guess what? If you're watching this video, you're very much lucky because it is the very first of its kind, which is on this podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Ask Bliss podcast. And this is where you get to learn from me indirectly by me responding to your questions. So I'll be leaving the link to the questions in the description of the video every time, and then you can get a chance to ask me questions, and of course I'll be responding to those questions every Friday at 17 hours CAT. Ladies and gentlemen, without wasting much of the time, we're going to get right into the questions, right? These questions are interesting. Some of them are going to be like very personal, and of course whatever advice that I'm going to give, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be based on my own experiences, and maybe other people might have their own opinions. But of course, every advice that I'll get will be as a result of my own experiences, right? Yeah. So the very first question, ladies and gentlemen, it is coming from somebody who's been trading for 2 years, and the question reads, how did you build the confidence to stay in a trade long enough or for the right time to maximize profit? He says, I find myself taking the correct trade often, but I always come out too early and never profit a lot. And sometimes I stay too long and the trade eventually reverses, etc., etc. Now, if you are watching me right now, what you're experiencing is something that is normal. I used to experience it, and a lot of traders have experienced it. To be very honest, sometimes I also experience it on rare occasions, right? But how do you know the exact time when to exit? I'm going to pinpoint a few things that can help you know when to exit the trade. First of all, it's going to come around asking yourself what kind of a trader you are. There are different traders. They are scalpers, they are day traders, they are positional traders, right? Now, what kind of a trader are you? Or what kind of trading methodology do you use? For example, there are those that only trade in the London session. There are only those that only trade the London Open. Then there are those that only trade in the New York session. So if you ask yourself those questions, it would help you. But ultimately, based on my own experience, when I exit a trade is based on one, my risk to reward ratio. I always ensure if I'm going to risk 1%, I should get more than 3 times what I'm risking. But that doesn't mean you should neglect every movement in the market. Sometimes the market might reverse without even hitting your targets. So you need to be there to be checking your trade sometime to see how the market is responding and how it's moving as per your analysis, right? So those are some of the things that can help you understand when to exit the trade. And don't be too greedy. You can't trade or rather milk the market to the very last pip, right? You can't do that in the long run. So what you need to do is get your share and go out of the market and trade another setup or another time. Those are some of the ways you can know when to exit, so that you don't exit too early or too late, because that might lead you to making no profits at all, or you make profits and then you lose it all. So ensure before you even enter a trade, you have predetermined where you're going to exit from, and of course, ladies and gentlemen, where you're going to enter from. So it will be easier for you. And once your targets are met, leave the market, right? It's as easy as that. So the second question is from somebody who's just about to start trading. And they say, what advice would you give to a beginner in trading, right? Now, the advice that I would give you is that one, understand that trading is something that will require your time. It will require your attention. It's just like a business. When you're starting a business, it requires your attention until it reaches a point where it can now go on even without you being present. That's what trading is like, right? Now, if I'm going to give you advice, one is that you are on the right path to financial freedom. But I would advise you one thing. If you look at the statistics online, only 5 to 10% of the people that trade worldwide are actually profitable in the long run when it comes to forex trading. When I was getting started, I looked at those statistics and I knew it was me against the world, and I needed to do an extra mile other than, rather, beyond what the majority were doing. I invested more time in learning, right? So I would advise that one, you invest time in learning and don't just learn everything. Be systematic. Find a mentor that will actually give you their time when they are available. And then find a trading methodology. For me, if you ask me what trading methodologies I would advise, I've tried a lot of trading methodologies. And my experience with those is that price action as well as smart money concepts have worked for me. But this doesn't mean other methodologies do not work. I've tried them, but what specifically works for me is price action and smart money concepts. So find a mentor, be systematic in your learning, and also know that not everybody is going to agree with you on this path of forex trading, especially if you are in Africa. In my country, Zambia, not a lot of people believe that you can actually make a living out of trading. So forget about them. Don't even tell them. Just disappear, focus, learn, understand, and most of all, practice, rehearse, and then you are going to see breakthrough. It may not come there and then, but it will eventually come, right? Yeah, so that's the advice that I would give you if you are going to just get started with forex trading and you are a beginner, right? We have another question, and this question is coming from somebody who's been trading for 2 years. And he says, how do you always know high impact news direction ahead of time? Yeah, this is a very interesting question, right? Now you can see that he's used the term, how do you always? So the term always. Now, I'm believing that this person is part of my group, and as of today, I've never lost any trading news. I came to the public that I trade news, I think last month, and we traded news live. Physically, I invited people to come and we traded live and we made money, right? And since then, I've never lost any single trade when it comes to news. Now, how am I able to do that, right? So I'm just saying so that in case you're seeing this, so that you just have an understanding of where the question is coming from. So how am I able to know the direction? So first of all, it comes as a result of experience and of course, following economic activities that are happening around the world. Most of the news that I trade is US based, right? So understanding different aspects actually help me be able to predict what's going to happen. And of course, different fundamentals, or rather different news release, is affected by different things. So if you're trading PPI, if you're trading NFP, if you're trading CPI, know that not every factor that you use on NFP is going to work on PPI. Know that not every factor on PPI that you use is going to be used on CPI. Ultimately, I use the fundamental aspect, which is analyzing the economic situations of the country and the news that is being released before the actual release, understanding how the economy of the country is doing, and also putting together the technical analysis, and then I'll be able to predict what might happen. So in case you do not know, I have a proven track record of having no loss trading news, and I always get it right. I'm sure those that are in the group can attest to this. As of today, but I'm not saying I'll never have a loss. If I was to say that, I'm going to be very biased, right? Yeah. But yeah, so far so good, and we have not lost a single trade. And of course, I look forward to having more in future, right? So the other question, we're going to be quick. The other question is, well, the person is just starting to trade. And the question is, how can I avoid losses in forex trading? How can I avoid losses in forex trading? Very interesting question, and I'm glad that you asked this question. I would love to give you, or rather, tell you what you expect in the forex market. Now, being a profitable trader doesn't mean you do not take losses. No. Right? If somebody tells you they do not take losses in trading, chances are high that they're lying to you. You can take one or two, but being a profitable trader simply means you are very much in charge of your risk management, your trading methodology, your win rate is high, and of course, your winners are more than the losses, or maybe equal. But your risk management is what eventually defines your profitability, right? So you can't always avoid the losses, right? You have a few losses here and there, but you should strive for consistency, ensuring that you make more profits than the losses. But of course, ultimately, don't forget, always invest in the right knowledge. Don't just pick any knowledge that you find on forex online. You may end up lying to yourself. Remember the statistics that are there online of people that are actually profitable, right? So ensure you invest more time in your learning, and also just ensure you come to a point where risk management is on point, and then you'll be good to go. So you can't avoid losses. Losses may be there, but ensure they are minimal and you have more winners. So that is what I can advise when it comes to making a few losses in forex. You can't avoid them entirely. So now this person, the next person, has been trading for 4 months now. Wow, congratulations. I'm glad that you started trading. And the person says, when are you having a forex seminar in the Copper Belt? When are you having a forex seminar in the Copper Belt? To be very honest with you, we've been having seminars in Lusaka for quite some time now, mainly because it's the capital city of Zambia, and I kind of feel like we have a lot of people that know about trading here other than other places, right? But Copper Belt is fast rising and a lot of people are evolving, right? And I believe that's where, there is more hunger for forex trading. To be very honest, I do not have the exact date, but am I coming to the Copper Belt? Definitely, right? Not just the Copper Belt, even other provinces, including universities, right? Yeah, so if you want me to come to a university, hit me up and then we can talk, we can make arrangements and everything, right? Yeah, so I'll be coming to the Copper Belt on a day that I'll announce on my social media platforms. Yeah. By the way, congratulations for starting, forex trading. So the other question is coming from somebody who's trading for only a few months. And wow, this is a very interesting question, if I were to say. Yeah. And he says, what would be your main focus if you were to start over forex from the beginning? If I were to start straight from the scratch, what would be my focus? One, I'll focus more on trying to understand a specific trading style, or rather a specific trading methodology, and minimize all the noise. Forget all the flexing and all that. You shouldn't focus more on that. Although the flexing from other people, other traders, kinda gives you that boost. For me, it used to help me. If I see people buying cars, enjoying in their supercars and all that, I say that is the dream that I want to live. But eventually, when it comes to your learning, for me, if I were to get started, I would focus more on one trading methodology and just go at it. If you want to know what that trading methodology would be, it would be either price action or institutional trading, right? And this information is really available almost everywhere. Well, the second question is coming from somebody who's yet to start. Wow, I'm glad that somebody is yet to start and then they're asking. By the way, if you are thinking of starting trading, you are on the right path. You are doing what is right. Yeah, and the question is, I'm kindly asking, what's the roadmap for a beginner to become a successful trader? They said to bring a successful trader, but I think, to become a successful trader. I'm kindly asking, what's the roadmap for a beginner to become a successful trader? Really, just because you're going to start forex trading doesn't guarantee that you're going to be a successful forex trader, right? Just because you start trading doesn't mean you're going to be a successful trader. Ultimately, what will determine how successful you're going to be is how you're going to be learning, the person you learn from, and how serious you are going to take this. Some of us, if you are to ask me, I've failed multiple times. but it only took one time when I began to rise, and I've never gone back. I've been able to live off forex. I do not have a job. I do not do nothing other than forex. All the profits that I have, all the investments that I'm making, it's money coming from trading, right? So what is the roadmap? One, first of all, find a mentor, and then stick to that trading methodology for some time until you fully understand it and you can reach a point where you are very comfortable with it. And then if you need to change later on, you can always look at other things. But stick to one thing, and then from there, you can always diversify, right? Yeah, it's very much easy. Yeah. And also just be a part of a trading community. I think it would really be helpful if you're also part of a trading community, right? Wow. This person, this person has been trading for a year now, and their question is, which ones are better, synthetics or currencies? Which ones are better, synthetics or currencies? So if you do not know what synthetics are, these are indices offered by the RIF, the only broker that is offering synthetic indices right now, and then the currencies. Now, if you had to ask me which ones are better, I would say they are all good. Because one, I started off with currencies, and because I didn't like trading news, and I remember losing some money because of some news, I ended up going to synthetic indices. I made a lot of money trading synthetic indices. I think I bought my first 2 cars, just trading synthetic indices, right? And later on now, I came back now, after I had grown and understood things better, I now brought back the currencies, and now I trade mostly the currencies. So which ones are better? They are all good, but just find which ones you find easy to trade based on your trading methodology. Because I've seen that some of the concepts that I use on currencies do not directly work when you apply it to synthetics. So find what works best for you and also what you like, and just trade. If there is need, you can always, please feel free to always trade both. You can trade both just like I do, right? Yeah. And ladies and gentlemen, the last question for this segment, for today's segment, is coming from somebody. So this question is coming from somebody who has been trading for 1 year. And the question says, what is the best way of trading boom and crash? What is the best way of trading boom and crash? It's a very interesting question that you've asked. To be very honest, if I'm going to say the best way, I might be wrong if I say the best way, but others trade only spikes and others trade against spikes. Others trade both. People like me, I trade both, right? So it is not really about the best way, but it's really about what works for you. If you already have a trading strategy, a trading system in place, a trading methodology in place, it's just a matter of applying that. Overall, I feel you can trade spikes, you can trade against the spikes. The concepts still remain the same. An order block on the spikes is still an order block on when you're trading against the spikes. So it is that easy. There isn't one specific strategy. If I'm going to say that, people are going to come to me and say that. Anyway, not that I care, but if you are to ask me how I trade boom and crash, I use mostly price action as well as institutional trading, but majority is price action. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that was the end of today's question and answer, or rather the podcast Ask Bliss Billion Dollar. And in case you do not know, this podcast is the very first of this kind for many series that are coming, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, the link is always going to be in the description of this video. Ensure, ladies and gentlemen, that you click on it. Ask me the questions. You can always just put your nickname there on the name, on the nick or the nickname. Ask your question, and of course, it will be answered on the next Friday. So the time is 17 hours every Friday, and it will always premiere. Otherwise, thank you so much for sticking along, or rather for staying this long. It just shows you are determined to be a forex trader. I'm excited about hearing from you, and I hope somebody's life will be changed from this segment. Otherwise, I hope to see you next time, and have a blessed day. Bye. Bye.